Welcome to Voices of MCU, where we delve into the depths of wisdom and spirituality. Get ready as we embark on a journey of fostering faith and cultivating leaders. And now it's time for Leadership Unleashed with Dr. John Ughulu, where purpose, faith, and leadership meet.
Hello, family. Welcome to Leadership Unleashed, where we explore the art and science of effective leadership in today's ever evolving world. I am your host, Dr. John Ughulu. I'm the president of Main Seed Christian University, and I am thrilled to embark on this journey with you as we dive deep into the principles, strategies, and stories that define successful leadership. Now, before I delve into today's topic, I want to take a moment to thank our listeners and also to extend a special invitation to potential sponsors. The Leadership Unleashed podcast series is made possible by the generous support of individuals and organizations who believe in the power of transformative leadership. So, if you or your organization are interested in sponsoring this podcast and reaching a dedicated audience of leaders, innovators, and change makers, we would love to hear from you. Your sponsorship not only helps us continue to provide valuable content, but also aligns your own brand with the values of leadership excellence and innovation. Now, here's a word about our esteemed partner, Main Seed Christian University. At Main Seed Christian University, we are committed to developing leaders who are grounded in faith, integrity, and a passion for service. Our university offers a wide range of programs designed to equip students with the knowledge, skills, and also ethical foundation needed to lead in various fields. So, whether you are interested in business, leadership, or ministry, Main Seed Christian University provides a supportive and intellectually stimulating environment where you can grow and thrive. So I want you to visit mainseeduniversity.com to learn more about our institution. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful episode of Leadership Unleashed. We hope you find our discussions insightful and inspiring. Remember, leadership is a journey, and we're here to walk that path with you. God bless you. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. So, today I want to talk about effective remote team management. Effective remote team management. I want you to write that down because it is very important. We all know that in recent times, businesses are now beginning to transition into building remote teams. Are you one of them? Is your organization one of them? If your answer is yes, then this podcast series is for you. Now, I want us to remember, or just think about it for a second. Do you experience challenges while trying to grow a remote team? This message is for you. This message I will be sharing today is for you. Now, the shift to remote work, like we know, has brought about new challenges and opportunities for team management. And in this podcast, we will explore key principles of effective remote team management, drawing from biblical stories. Oh, yes. From the book of wisdom, we will be drawing stories and experiences from the Bible. And also, I will talk to you about some modern day leaders. Our goal is to help you Lead your remote team with confidence, compassion, and clarity. Yes, confidence, compassion, and clarity. That's what you will gain today. That's the knowledge you will gain today by listening to this podcast. Now, how can we effectively build a remote team? What strategies do we need to put in place for effective remote team management? I want you to write this down. Number one, the first thing we need to do is to establish clear communication. Write that down. Establish clear communication. Now, effective communication is the cornerstone of successful remote team management. Yes, I have been there. I know it. I have seen it work. And without the benefit of face to face interaction, it's crucial to establish clear and consistent communication channels. Now, I would use a story from the Bible that illustrates the importance of communication. We know communication is key. Now, let's look at the story of the Tower of Babel. You remember that story, the Tower of Babel, right? I think that was in Genesis. Yes, Genesis 11, Genesis chapter 11, verses 1 to 9. Write that down. Now, in this chapter, the people of the earth spoke one language. That's what the Bible said. That the people of the earth spoke one language and worked together to build a tower to reach the heavens. But however, God confused their language, causing them to misunderstand each other and scatter across the earth. Now, this story underscores the power of clear communication in achieving common goals and the chaos that ensues when communication breaks down. Remember, at first, things were going well for them because they spoke just one language. Things were working. But at some point, God realized that they were going against the wish of God, the will of God. They became so proud, so full of themselves. And God decided to bring confusion, and they started speaking different languages. Now, let's not go into that part of why God did that. That's a story for another day. But let's focus on what happened when there was a breakdown, when there was a break in, a breakdown in communication. When they spoke with one voice, things were going well. But the moment they started speaking different languages, everything changed, right? Have you experienced that before? Have you gone through projects whereby lack of communication caused major problems? Oh, yes, it happens to everybody. It happens to different organization, teams, and leaders. But here is what I typically do to establish clear communication with my team. I use reliable communication tools like Microsoft Teams. I am not doing any advertisement for them or advertising for them. But we utilize Microsoft Teams. It's reliable. We've been using it for a while. And secondly, I schedule regular check-ins and team meetings. It's very important for you to do that. And thirdly, I always encourage open and transparent communication to foster trust and collaboration. Now, secondly, to achieve effective remote team management, the second point I would like to emphasize on is we must set clear goals and expectations. Yes, we must always do that because setting clear goals and expectations helps remote team members stay focused and aligned with the team's objective, which is key. Now, the principle is beautifully illustrated in the story of Nehemiah from the Bible. Now, we all know Nehemiah was a cupbearer to the king, right? Now, Nehemiah led the effort to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. He communicated the vision clearly. That was the first thing he did. He communicated the vision clearly to the people and rallied the people around a common goal, right? Then he said to them, "You see the trouble we are in Jerusalem lies in ruins." He said, "You see the trouble we are in Jerusalem lies in ruins, and its gates have been burnt with fire." And he went further to say, "Let us build it." He said, "Come, let us build the wall of Jerusalem, and we will no longer be in disgrace." That's what he said to them. He gave them a clear vision. Let us build it. And when we do that, we would no longer be in disgrace. And the moment he said that, that vision resonated with the people. And they replied him. They said, "Let us start rebuilding." I don't know what you're going through in your organization right now. All you need to do is to get your people to agree with you and say, "Let us start rebuilding." And that was what they did in the case of Jeremiah. So they began this good work. And we all know that Nehemiah's leadership exemplifies the power of clear goals and the shared vision. Now, what I typically do in situations like this is I define specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound goals. I have an acronym for that. It's called SMART. So I set SMART goals. I define SMART goals. What does SMART stand for? S stands for specific. M stands for measurable. A stands for achievable. R stands for relevant. And T is time bound. Secondly, I communicate these goals clearly to my team. I make it very simple, easy, clear. And thirdly, I regularly review progress and provide feedback. So it's very important for you. Now, how can we focus on effective remote team management? We've talked about the first strategy, which is to establish clear communication. The second one is to set clear goals and expectations. And the third one is to foster team cohesion and trust. Write that down. To foster team cohesion and trust. Now, building trust and cohesion within a remote team is essential for maintaining morale and productivity. You all know when the morale is up, productivity what? It increases. But when the morale is low, productivity what? Decreases, it drops. So we must focus on boosting the morale of our team. Now let's look at the story of Ruth and Naomi. Now, this story provides a powerful example of loyalty and trust. If you look at your Bible, if you go to your Bible and look at Ruth chapter 1, verses 16 to 17. Now, Ruth's loyalty to her mother in law, Naomi, is a major testament to the strength of trust and commitment. In that chapter, Ruth replied Naomi by saying, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go. And she said, and where you stay, I will stay. Can your team members say that to you? Where you go, I will go. And where you stay, I will stay. She went further to say, your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. What does that show? Loyalty and trust. The people you lead are supposed to be loyal to you. They're supposed to trust you. They should be able to trust you. They should be able to say, where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Now, Ruth's unwavering dedication shows the importance of fostering strong relationships built on trust. So, how do I build trust amongst my team members? I create opportunities for team bonding through virtual social events. Team bonding through virtual events. We create the opportunity to have a conversation, to see the things that are working and the things that are not working. Give them the opportunity to come up with suggestions. I encourage a culture of appreciation and recognition, which is key. Everybody has to be recognized or appreciated for the good work done, because teamwork makes the dream work. And lastly, you have to be empathetic and supportive. Sometimes it could be challenging as a leader. Sometimes you could get carried away and the whole empathy will die. But always be intentional about that. Be empathetic and supportive, and that would make things work well. And lastly, let's look at ways to empower and develop your team. When you are working with a remote team, you must focus on empowering and developing your team. Now, empowering your team and investing in their development can lead to greater innovation and job satisfaction. Now, consider the example of Moses and Joshua. Remember, Moses mentored Joshua, preparing him to lead the Israelites into the promised land. Now, Joshua was filled with the spirit of wisdom because Moses did what was necessary. Moses laid his hands on him. He mentored him. He laid his hands on him. So the Israelites listened to him and did what the Lord had commanded Moses to do because of the mentorship. So Moses' leadership ensured a smooth transition and the continued success of his people. What are you doing? You who's a leader who's listening to me right now, what are you currently doing to teach people what you know? What are you currently doing to replicate what works for you? What are you currently doing to build others to step into your position in the future? This is what I do. I provide opportunities for professional development through online courses and training. I even provide scholarships for those who are interested. I delegate responsibilities and I trust my team to make decisions. I offer regular feedback and mentorship to support growth. You must always do that. And lastly, you must lead with vision and purpose. Write that down. Lead with vision and purpose. lead with vision and purpose. Now, great leaders inspire their teams by leading with vision and purpose. As a leader, it is very important. Now let's look at the story of a world-renowned leader, Nelson Mandela. Yes, I love the story of Nelson Mandela because it resonates with me. So let's look at it. Now, we all know that Nelson Mandela was the first black president of South Africa. His vision was to make sure that there was equality and reconciliation. That was his vision. Equality and reconciliation. His leadership, characterized by resilience and a deep sense of justice, transformed South Africa. Mandela once said, "It always seems impossible until it is done." Do you have projects that currently seem impossible? Well, here's one thing I want to remind you about. It would always seem impossible until it's done. That's what Mandela said. For as long as you are able to do what is necessary to boost the morale of your team, it will always seem impossible until it is done. But guess what? It will be done. The job will be done when you do what is right. Now, Nelson Mandela's legacy teaches us the power of vision and the determination in overcoming seemingly insurmountable challenges. And what I typically do is I articulate a clear vision. I am a visionary leader. As a leader, you should see before others and you should see farther than others. That's what John Maxwell says all the time. As a leader, you must be able to see before others, and you must be able to see farther than others. And as we wrap up today's podcast on effective remote team management, remember that successful remote leadership is built on clear communication, defined goals, trust, empowerment, and a compelling vision. So by integrating these principles inspired by biblical stories and examples of leaders like Nelson Mandela, you can lead your remote team with confidence and purpose. Thank you for joining us today. Stay tuned for more insightful episodes, and may you lead with faith and excellence in all your endeavors. I don't know where you're listening to me from, but I want you to remember that today is the first day of the rest of your life. So stay tuned. God bless you. Thank you for joining us, and see you soon. Bye for now.
If you would like to become a sponsor of Voices of MCU, please go to the description, find the link, and connect with us. Thank you for joining us today for Voices of MCU. This program and its content is owned by Main Seed Christian University, and we invite you to visit www.mainseeduniversity.com to take full advantage of our low tuition programs. The content of this program is for educational purposes only.